We're live. Hello, everybody. I'm Rebecca Chaplin and so happy to be joined by my friend and colleague, Susan Wilson. Susan serves as the ACA Program Director, the Affordable Care Act Program Director with the Council on Aging for Buncombe County. And here we are. We have started. Open enrollment has begun, and we decided we'd do a short session today on what you need to know about ACA enrollment. So, Susan, we were just chatting a little bit. How long have you been working doing this role with the Affordable Care Act?
I have been an Affordable Care Act navigator since November of 2013, which was when the marketplace opened. And so this is my 10th open enrollment.
And just generally, so if you have questions, people, we are talking to the person who can answer your questions. So whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching this live, you can write your questions down into the comment section and we can address them during the session today. So don't miss out on this opportunity to get details. And we're going to keep this more general so that it can be of benefit to the most people. So we were also to set a context, Susan, how are you feeling in general about this year's open enrollment and about the Affordable Care Act options available to people?
I'm very optimistic. We have more options that are available to people. And we have new insurers. We've got new plans with old insurers. So it's really important if someone's already on the Affordable Care Act to go back and look at what the options are this year, because there may be something that fits them better than what they had last year. Most plans change every year. Doctors go in and out of network. Prescriptions change for consumers. Prescriptions change in the formulary. So going back in and actively re-enrolling is very important.
Okay. Well, so as we know, AARP generally serves a population of people who are 50 plus. And so, why is the ACA relevant to the 50 plus population? Who would be the customers who are over 50 who would benefit from the ACA?
Well, part of how the Council on Aging got started is we are the Medicare SHIP counselors, Senior Health Insurance Information Program counselors. And we would have people who would move in, and one of the spouses would be on Medicare, and then the other spouse no longer had insurance because everybody had retired or moved to a new place. And when the Affordable Care Act came along, it just made sense because we can help people from age. Actually, if a toddler could sign up, I'd get them to sign up, but they can't. So we can do anybody at any age in this program that would qualify. And so we help people who may have retired early or may have become a consultant or a contractor, and we can help them get insurance so that they are covered. Mm-hmm. And if someone does not qualify for premium-free Part A Medicare, and that's very, very few people, but there are a few people, we can also help them look at what their choices might be as well.
So people over 65 who are not covered by a premium-free Part A for Medicare could benefit from ACA enrollment as well. I didn't know that. Did I get that right? Okay,
yes.
Great. So what are some of the changes that you're noticing this year and, that consumers would want to know about?
Well, there are a couple. Two of the big ones are the family glitch, which is a problem that we have had since the beginning, where it was not implied. It was that if an employee's insurance was considered affordable, so many employers will pick up the majority of an employee's insurance, and it's a small percentage of their household income. Well, unfortunately, when you get to family and children or spouses, the cost goes up and the insurer does not cover any of that.
Huh.
But in the past, if the employee's insurance was affordable, it just meant that everybody's insurance was quote unquote affordable according to IRS regulations. And they changed that this year. So if you have insurance, say for $50 a month or $50 a pay period, but to add your family can be $2 or $3 or $4 or $500, as it is in some plans.
Mm-hmm.
Your family can now come onto the marketplace, get premium tax credits,
Hmm.
and have insurance at a more affordable rate than getting it through your employer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's if in the spouse family coverage is more than 9.17% of the household income, you can get help in the marketplace. The second thing we have is, and this began this year, if your income falls between 100 and 400% of the federal poverty limit,
Hmm.
you can get a special enrollment throughout the year. Not only that, you get not just help paying your premiums through premium tax credits, there are back end subsidies, which are cost sharing reductions. So you get lower deductibles, lower out of pocket maximums, lower costs to go see a doctor. Um, if you wind up needing to use an urgent care, it costs less. If you need any, I know as we get older, body parts quit working quite as well. And if you need rehab or physical therapy, you can get sessions at a much lower price than if you are above 150% of the federal poverty limit.
So this is very complex. Hearing this as, a consumer, there's so many nuances and details. I mean, so it's a good thing that there are people like you out there who can help. So you serve with the Council on Aging for Buncombe County, and what is the kind of geographical scope that you serve with Buncombe County Council on Aging?
Um, we serve 9 different counties. So we serve Avery, Buncombe, Henderson, Madison, McDowell, Mitchell, Polk, Transylvania, and Yancey.
Good job. Yes. Wow. So that's the region that you serve. And so I put on the screen where people can go for some more information on upcoming events for the Affordable Care Act, where they can get more info. Is there also a phone number that people can call within that catchment area where if they want to set up an appointment with someone, they can talk?
Sure. It's 1-855-733-3711.
Okay. So that is the number. It sounds like that's a North Carolina Navigator number. So anyone can call that number in the state of North Carolina and get connected with an ACA enrollment representative in their area. Is that right?
That's correct. And one of the things I found is I will work with parents who then have a child elsewhere in the state and they want their child to get insurance because they don't have it available. So this is a number where you can get insurance anywhere in the state, certainly anywhere in Western North Carolina.
Hmm.
One other change that we had happen last year that is continuing through this year is that help with premiums called premium tax credits now go above 400% of the federal poverty limit. Now,
Hmm.
the federal poverty limit is determined each year, and it matters what income and family size is. So I can't give you a blanket number and let you know, okay, if you fall in between here and here, you have to talk to somebody and look at a schedule. Um, and when they did it above 400%, if the cost for insurance on the marketplace, the lowest cost insurance plan on the marketplace would be more than a certain percentage of your household income, you get help paying for insurance. And that help can be put towards any level plan. We have 3 level plans in the marketplace, and people who have employer insurance are frequently told, well, your plan is 80-20 or 70-30 or one thing or another. And there are 3 different levels in the marketplace: 60-40, which means that 60% of your health insurance costs are supposed to be covered by the insurer. And then you would pick up 40%. And that's a bronze level. We have silver level, which is 70-30, 70 insurer, 30 you. And then the final one is silver, which is an 80-20. Well, no, gold, which is 80-20. And that doesn't mean that if you go into the doctor and you hand them $1, 60 cents will be paid by the insurer, or 70 or 80. It's an actuarial value, and they are all put together differently. And one of the reasons why it helps to have a navigator is that you can get into these plans, and if you don't know what you're looking at, you can choose a plan that doesn't cover what you need. As I said, they're all put together differently. For example, there are like 4 or 5 different Aetna plans that are silver plans. So you've got different ways that they've done it, lower deductibles and higher out of pocket, or lower cost to see your primary care physician, combined with a variety of different things. So there's more than just looking at the plan when they come up. You need to look further than that. And we know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We also know how to help people through the application process. Sometimes that can be really confusing. And for example, I can be talking to somebody and they say, well, this is all the income I have. Okay, do you have anything like a pension? Or do you have anything like investment income that you might have taxable dividends, whether or not you're drawing anything out of that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have other income that you just haven't thought of as income? Because most people think of a paycheck or Social Security, and they don't remember that there are these other little pieces that they
Mm-hmm.
get. And
Mm-hmm.
that can make a difference.
Mm-hmm. So having somebody to talk to definitely helps a person to really understand the nuances and talk through. If you're like me, it's helpful to talk about things to really think it through more fully. How long does a navigator spend with you, and where do you meet with a navigator? Do you meet with them on the phone? Do you meet with them in person? And what's the average length of time that someone gets with their ACA navigator?
I usually set 90-minute appointments.
Wow.
It may not take the full 90, and there are times when we get to 90 minutes and I have someone else that I need to meet with, and so we have to schedule a second appointment. But for the most part, we can generally get through it in 90 minutes. Now, there are many different ways that you can meet with the navigator. We can set up something similar to what we're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
a Zoom appointment where we can both see each other. I can share my screen or you can share your screen, and we can go through it together and see what we're doing. We can do it by telephone. Um, I had one person who was running a route, and we would do the application while they were driving from place to place. So you just, you never know. And we also have some in-person appointments scattered throughout our area, in Madison and at different libraries, in Buncombe County at the Council on Aging in Deerfield. And I believe we're going to use some space over at Goodwill off of Patton Avenue. So there will be a number of different places. We also have sub-grantees that I want to mention. Toe River Project Access works with us up in the Avery, Mitchell, Yancey County, and they meet with people in person up there. And down in McDowell County, we've got McDowell Access to Care and Health Match, and they meet with people. And they frequently will have enrollment events at different places, like United Methodist Church off of Baldwin Street, or Old Fort First Baptist, or a number of different places down there, Addie's Chapel, for example. So we do have places where we can meet with people in person One of the things when you call the 800 number, 855-733-3711, you can ask for an in-person meeting, and they can look up where and when the in-person appointments are and set one for you.
That's great. So I'm also going to put into the comment section the navigator.net get help so people can just click on that. Um, I know my internet's being a little bit blinky today. Sorry about that, everyone. But I do want to make sure that people have access to that. So anybody can do the ncnavigator.net or call the number if you live in North Carolina to find out where you could be matched with a navigator. That's really useful information, and that they could be in person depending on internet access and what people have as an option, or they could be via Zoom or on the phone. My next question is uh, so obviously ACA navigators are a publicly funded position that
Right.
is not doesn't have any place in the competitive game over which plan somebody chooses. It's non-commercial is probably the best way to say that. Are there others out there who are commercial doing similar work who have kind of a vested interest in what somebody is going to purchase? For example, might someone, go directly to an insurer and, sign up through them? So I just want people to understand kind of who they're talking with and how they assess that person.
Well, the navigators and there are other assisters who are paid through grants and are working for nonprofits. I work for a nonprofit, the Council on Aging of Buncombe County. We do not make commissions. We don't get paid by the person we sign up or the level plan that they choose. So I don't have any interest in making sure that you sign up for a plan with a particular insurer, or that you get the most expensive plan that I can talk you into. It is, I am unbiased. I'm free. Um, I don't have any skin in the game, meaning that if you decide nothing fits you, that's fine with me. If you decide that X insurer fits you better than Y insurer, that's great. We've got 10 different insurers, and no, I cannot list them all.
Mhm.
But they are in the marketplace, and it differs where you live as to what might be available in your area. And as I said earlier, we've got multiple insurers that are offering multiple plans at multiple different metal levels, as we call them. So I'm happy to show you anything and everything. Um, we ask questions like, how often do you go to the doctor? Do you have prescriptions? Do you need prescription help? Um, do you have ongoing medical needs that need to be met? Um, Chronic conditions that we need to be sure that when we're looking at plans, we're not just looking at a premium, because you might get a low premium and get insurance that doesn't cover anything that you need for it to cover. And if you were to pay a premium, you would actually have lower costs overall, because your cost to go see a doctor is less, your prescriptions cost less, or more of them are covered, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so we can ask the questions. And again, we don't sell you insurance. We help you find insurance that meets your needs and your budget.
Mhm.
There are agents and brokers out there that can sell you insurance, and many of them are more than happy to do that. But they generally can only point you towards insurance or insurance companies that they represent. They're not going to show you all of what's in the marketplace, because for the most part, they don't necessarily have access to that.
Mhm.
And the way they earn their money is by selling you a plan and getting the commission,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, which is, uh, that's how it works. And so if you go to a particular person who sells a particular insurance, that is all you will see. And there may be less expensive and better options for you in the marketplace that we can show you.
Okay. Yeah. So if one goes to this ncnavigator.net or calls this number, they'll be connected with somebody who has a no vested interest, non commercial, works for a nonprofit organization, and can help navigate all of the options through the Affordable Care Act. Is that accurate?
Exactly.
Okay. That
Yes.
sounds really important for people to understand. And okay, so what is the time period that we have for ACA open enrollment?
Well, open enrollment actually began yesterday and it ends January 15th. But if you want insurance that will start on January 1, you need to enroll before December 15th. So November 1 to December 15th, you will get insurance that starts January 1. December 16th through January 15th, your insurance is going to start in February.
Okay. So if you don't want to lapse in coverage, if you want your insurance to start in January, because that meets your needs, then make sure to get in touch with a navigator by December 15th. What if is this the only time somebody can enroll in the ACA during this open enrollment period, or are there other times when it's possible to enroll?
There are also special enrollment periods. I mentioned one earlier. If you are between 100 and 150% of the federal poverty limit, you can enroll at any time. Of
Okay.
course, it is probably better for you to be covered year round because if you have an insurance bill before you get covered, you're on the hook for that insurance bill. They're not going to retroactively go, oh, okay, we're going to do your insurance back. And medical bills are extremely expensive, as we all know. Um, so you've got that as an open enrollment. You also have other open enrollments depending on life changes, as we call them. So if you move from one place to another, generally, if you move zip codes or move from Asheville to Marion or one place or another, it will change the cost and potentially
Hmm,
the offerings of the insurance in the marketplace.
hmm,
If you lose your job insurance, say someone goes from full time to part time, which many older individuals will do on occasion,
mhm.
and you lose your insurance. That's a special enrollment period, but you only have 60 days after that to enroll in insurance or you lose your eligibility.
Wow.
If you know you're going to lose your insurance before you lose it, we can help you get insurance that will start right after your insurance ends, as long as it's the first of it ends at the end of a month. So we can help in those situations. If you have a child that you need to add, either through adoption or birth, if you or some yeah, that's primarily it. Or you have someone who you get married, for example, you can add your wife or your husband or whoever your
Mm,
new spouse is. So,
okay.
yeah,
So is it true to say then if you've had a life change like a move or a loss of an insurer or a change in your family, you have 60 days after that that's kind of your window. Is that accurate?
that is accurate. Yes.
Okay, great. And then again, right now is the time where anybody can enroll. But if you want coverage to start by January 1st, you have to enroll by December 15th. So that's good information. I think one final question before we start to get a summary here is, so we've talked about how a navigator can help somebody figure out the nuances of their personal situation and assess all of the options and how that's different depending on what county you live in or state that you live in. So it really does change based on where you live, which I wasn't aware of. What if someone feels really savvy and they want to just do it themselves? Can someone go online and find their own coverage through the marketplace by themselves?
They can. And the place to do that is healthcare.gov.
Okay.
Don't accidentally go somewhere that doesn't have the .gov because you will get a million phone calls
Hmm.
from insurance agents who you just agreed to talk to by
Okay.
going to something other than healthcare.gov.
Okay.
Um, and that's when people get upset, and I understand that. You can sign up yourself. The other thing about navigators, you can sign up yourself if you find you have a problem. Come to a navigator. We will help you take care of that problem if we are able. If you have a problem with an insurer, we will help you with that problem as much as we are able. If you need to contact, say, the Department of Insurance, we can help you do that. Um, you don't have to have come to us initially or had us help you get your insurance. We will help you after the fact as well.
Wow.
So we are full service navigators, and that's kind of what we do. We also help people with appeals in different settings or complex cases in different settings. We help, and that's our role.
Wow. It's really rare to find someone who will help you for free to navigate these types of systems in a way that is not biased. And so when I hear of the work that Susan and others do who are navigators, I feel so grateful that there are people out there to help you navigate the Affordable Care Act and find the best option for you. So no matter where you are in North Carolina, you can call this number or go to this website to start the process. But I'm a big advocate for the ACA navigators. I hope y'all have learned something here today. You can find out more specifically about the Council on Aging of Buncombe County's Affordable Care Act offers and programs through this site. You can just go to coabc.org and then you could navigate from there. But there's the ending part of the URL too, the Programs and Affordable Care Act. So, in conclusion, Susan, what would you like to say to people joining us today?
We are here to help you, and there are lots of navigators in this area. And so please give us a call. We've got a lot of appointments that are open. And if you want to stay home, we can do them by Zoom or telephone. If you want to come in person, we've got in person as well. So, whatever will fit your needs, we will help you in whatever way is easiest and more comfortable for you.
Thank you for your service to people trying to navigate this system. And I know that you spend quality time with folks who are trying to figure it out. Get your appointments now because they have appointments, but they do fill up. And if you learned something new in this video today, please go ahead and share it because chances are other people will learn something new as well. And we just want to make sure that the information gets out to as many people as possible. Thank you, Susan Wilson, for joining me today. And I'll say goodbye to everybody watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you later. Bye bye.